Good evening! Welcome to the King Kobbler Show, where I tear up old radios and make them your problem. Starring me, King Kobbler!
Well, here it is, the Johnson Ranger 1 that's been in the hands of a cobbler. This is an early Ranger 1 without the keyer platform. It's factory wired, and that's a big plus. But the big negative is somebody got in there and gave it some really cool modifications. Let's take a look at the cobs. Start off on this side of the radio. Get this rectifier tube out of the way. You see somebody added a nifty push-to-talk system. But unfortunately, I looked over the wiring. He is switching the 120 to the accessory socket, but these two wires are turning on and off the audio section. It's not even activating the key line. So I'm assuming you still have to rotate the function switch. So what good is that push-to-talk system? Then, take a look at the ventilated VFO compartment. Why is it ventilated? Let me show you cob 2. Here we go. Take off the side cover. What do we need all that ventilation for? Well, if you look closely, down the bottom of the VFO compartment, you're going to see a gigantic 20-watt ohmite resistor. I'm assuming that's supposed to be where the 18K resistor was. That must have been quite the feat to install. And of course, it's going to be just as much effort to reverse. So this Ranger arrived dead. I brought it up on a variac and noticed there was a direct short on the high voltage. Inspecting the radio, I took a look at the 9-pin plug that's on the back, and guess what? The keyway's gone, and it was in the wrong position, shorting the high voltage directly to chassis. If it didn't have a fuse, it would have smoked that power transformer. Here we go, cob number 3. So after I repaired the high voltage short issue, I brought the radio up on a variac, and everything lit up, but I found that the only meter position that would operate is buffer. All the other positions did nothing. I thought, what the heck could be causing that? Well, let's take a look around the right side of the radio. So if you look down by the front of the modulation transformer and the panel, you're going to see this gigantic rotary switch. Somebody obviously had a failure of the meter switch and put in that mastodon and wired it completely wrong. I buzzed out the shunts. Only one of them is going to the correct location. So I have a donor from another Ranger. Unfortunately, to replace that, the front panel has to come off. But that's okay, because the VFO dial's also jammed. So yep, the VFO is free to spin down here, but you go about 3/4 of the way, and it stops. Dead stop. I'm not going to force it until I get things apart and see what's causing that problem. So bottom side, it really doesn't look too bad. There wasn't too much cobbling going on until you look over here on the AC input. What's missing, guys? How about a bunch of coils that Johnson put in there initially? It's all been stripped out. And then they added this fuse holder, and the screw is actually hitting the glass of the fuse. So it kind of tips back and forth. Another fine cob job. When the radio came in, the guy shipped it with that plug installed on the rear, which is a terrible idea. The shell was crushed, and of course you saw the connector, but also the back of the radio is pitched in from the impact. So that's another thing I get to straighten out. As for all the other issues, first thing I have to do is pull the front panel. That's the only way I can repair the VFO and get that new meter switch installed. Here's a close-up on that meter switch. Bracket's loose, so I'm assuming he spun it around to get it in here. It is deathly close to shorting out on the modulation transformer. But it looks like the wiring is still long enough to go back on the original switch. So I got to get this thing out of here and go from there. This VFO, you can see the cover does not have the slot. So the only way that you can get these off is to pull the front panel, get the VFO shaft out of there, take out the hardware, and lift out that compartment cover. Alright, there's the back side of the switch. A lot of wiring. That dual wafer switch to take place of the little switch that was in there. There was actually a shim plate underneath. I think it was to keep these terminals from shorting to the chassis. Either way, she's coming out, and I have a road map on the new switch. I left some pigtails, so we'll wire it back up. There is the donor meter select switch installed. Luckily, all the wiring made it. I didn't have to extend anything. I did install new leads for the meter. So right now, I'm going to make sure the shunts are present. Remember, before I only had one. I'm in position off. There is the oscillator, buffer, grid, plate, and modulator. Back to off. Everything looks fine. Alright, let's move on to the VFO compartment. There's a lot of screws and nuts you have to take off. Best advice, guys, just take your time. This is coming out. And we're going to clean the VFO switch. I need to check and make sure that this travels okay. It feels alright. Somebody replaced the little phenolic spacer in there. Those get broken pretty easily. People take out the front panels. They don't undo these set screws and snap. That's always a nightmare. Alright, I'm going to carve out that resistor and give this thing a good look over. There's the new 20K 2-watt resistor installed in the VFO. And now, guys, is a great time to take a Q-tip, some paper towels, and clean that chassis, especially around the VFO where it's hard to get otherwise. Well, next we'll pull out this push-to-talk relay, and there's actually a little voltage doubler underneath. We're going to remove that too and start fresh. Alright, I've powered up the transmitter. I'm just going to run it chassis style. We're on the 40 meter band. Now my meter is actually indicating on different settings now. There's modulation when I go to phone. You see that comes up. But when I go to grid, I still have no grid drive. No indications of that at all. There's my buffer. And there's oscillator. When I go to 0, that meter should be jumping. And it's not. So for some reason, I'm not keying the VFO or the first multiplier. So a little more digging. Alright, so I was bottom side probing around checking voltages, and then I spotted something. Look, right there on the terminal board. You see that behind there? It's a big glob of solder, and it's shorting out the signal to the VFO. I'm going to remove that and see if it comes back to life. There it is. So obviously when he was in here slopping solder around, some fell down on the terminal board. I wonder if that's going to fix it. And that answer is no. I still have no grid current. And no oscillator. Keep plugging along. I got the bright idea to hook up Morse code key. And now look, there's my grid. Trying to keep my hands out of the way. There is grid. When I go to CW, I'm getting a little over 40 watts out. So, the problem is obviously the mode switch. The crystal VFO and 0, that low that I'm selecting is not getting to the oscillator tube, but the key is, and they're actually wired in parallel on the schematic. So I think we just got a broken wire here. Yep, that's what it is. So here is the 0 position going to the oscillator. You can see it's open, but if I hit the key, then we have pretty much continuity to ground. So there's probably something wrong in the wiring, or maybe even the switch. Okay, I'm in here with my own meter, taking a look at the back of the function switch, and look right there. There is a tab with indications that had a wire on it at one time. Hook my meter to it. Look at there. So yep, Kobbler got me again, guys. Need to find out where that missing wire is. Alright, I reconnected the wire from pin 9 of that switch to the low side of this coil. That's what they're showing on the schematic. Let's see if it works. So I have the Ranger back to the original setup. So there's my grid. Key it up. I've got push to talk in it now. There's my plate. Putting out a little under 40 watts. Now I'm only running this transmitter at 110 volts on my Variac right now. Hello, 1, 2. So that's modulation. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Everything looks good. Okay, good news. For the Ranger, I was able to uncobble all the cobbling. When you find yourself in this situation, the best thing to do is remove everything that shouldn't be there and then rewire it per the print, and that Ranger will work again. Still a lot of work to be done. I got some cleanup work. I want to inspect this thing thoroughly before I call it good. But this Ranger has been uncobbled by N6TLU 73s.